and Jojo. Your culinary adventure awaits.
Bagenzi harohe kitweka ekinkumanya kikahumba ruhanga ubuyemera hansozi olengeresi amare.
Hello Uganda, my name is Heavenly Joy Mhumuza, your Pride for TV brand ambassador, and I am here with exciting news just for you. Are you ready to laugh, learn, and shine? Then, don't miss the Kids Talk Show, the biggest and brightest show made especially for children. It happens every Sunday starting from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Right here on 4TV. We bring you smart ideas, fun conversations, inspiring stories, talents, quizzes, and amazing surprises. So gather your family, switch on 4TV, and join us every Sunday at 11. The Kids Talk Show, where every child has a voice. Fast TV, stay entertained. Hello Uganda, my name is Heavenly Joy Mhumuza, your Pride for TV brand ambassador, and I am here with exciting news just for you. Are you ready to laugh, learn, and shine? Then, don't miss the Kids Talk Show, the biggest and brightest show made especially for children. It happens every Sunday starting from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Right here on 4TV. We bring you smart ideas, fun conversations, inspiring stories, talents, quizzes, and amazing surprises. So gather your family, switch on 4TV, and join us every Sunday at 11. The Kids Talk Show, where every child has a voice.
Alright, thank you for making it for television, the home of entertainment. It is another Sunday, the 11th of the January 2025, and I'm your host, Amanita Nicholas, on the Kids Talk Show from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. Hello to you all, Happy New Year. Welcome to this brown New Year. As the New Year starts, many people go to other classes, many people go to other levels. Those from primary get into secondary, those from O level get into A level, those in A level get into university. So it is a kind of a congratulation and a milestone one builds when it comes to a new year. Welcome to the Kids Talk Show. Hello to you all kids who are watching the Kids Talk Show today. Now today we have a very special, amazing topic, and that will be about how can we choose careers as students, as kids. When you're still young, careers are not chosen after your studies. However, careers are chosen when you get into this world. We shall be also looking at leadership and legacy, turning curiosity into superpowers. You shouldn't be missing out this topic right away from there. Thank you for choosing 4TV. Now 4TV, we are going stream on all social media handles. You can also download the 4TV app to have our best experience. YouTube, TikTok, every social media handle on Azam TV, also on your free to air channel. All you'll be getting our content of 4TV. Once again, I'm your host, Amanita Nicholas Nyabongo Akiki, to bring you this show live away from the Kids Talk Show. We are the voice of the kids. Now, to begin with, when you get to be born in this world, when you're still young, you don't have that kind of mentality of being that one person who is important in the country. However, when you get to an old age, you start thinking. However, some people limit themselves to think of what they want to become in future. Take a look. When you get to the kids panel who are in primary, who are still young, he tells you, I want to be a pilot, just because they feel like flying in the air is the best thing they can do in this world. However, that's before you get into an older age. And you get another character who says, I won't choose my job, and it's not the right time to choose my job because I'm still in senior one, I'm still in senior two, so I still have more years. But don't forget that those years you are having, that's the when you get that career curiosity, there is that thing that grows within you when you are still young. So it's not choosing a job when you get to an older age. There are funny stories. Some people in secondary, you kids out there, don't think that people in secondary are very too matured. You find somebody finishing O-level but is worried, which combination am I going to take? Just the reason is only one. He didn't make the plans before. So this person is going to tell you, I don't know which combination to take because I haven't got any career I'd like to take. Somebody just tells you, I want just to take BCM to become a scientist, but within him, he has no that power, he has no that feeling for that job of becoming a doctor. Now today, we are going to be looking on what factors should we lay. We are going to be internalizing them and coming to its end. What should you consider as to get your career opportunity? But before we get into that, we want to first know what is the right time you should know your career opportunity in future. Now, number one, when you get mature, have that interest. When you're choosing a career, factor number one, we have something you get interested in. Now, take a look. When you are interested in public speech, you're interested in debating, you're interested in such cases of speeches, you like talking to the public, you like talking to people, you have that talent of speech. So that only interest you have can really show this person should be targeting for a career where they need speech, like journalism. You can do journalism, you can do law, you can be a judge just because you have that speech. So when you have that interest of being that thing you would like to be, it creates within you. So if you have that interest, if you have that interest of saving people's lives, whatever you do, you feel like you need to save people's lives. So that's why you need to become a doctor. So what's the work of a doctor? The work of a doctor is simply to save people's lives. Yes, kids, I know you know that. So when you have that passion of saving people's lives, it has already created your career opportunity that you are likely to become a doctor. So that's the first thing. The interest you have can easily create that career you need in future. That you can even get interest. You're like, oh, I'm getting interest in how lawyers do their things. I'm getting interest in how lawyers save people's lives in the court. So you also say, I want to become that. But it is not simply that I want to become that. It should be your inner person saying that. It shouldn't be your outer person saying that. So you should be having that feeling of saying, I also need to become a lawyer. Just simply, I like laws. But when you want to become a lawyer, it begins when you're still young. It doesn't mean when you get out of secondary life, that's when you're going to become a lawyer. But when within you, when you see something wrong, or somebody is accused falsely, you intervene if you have that much evidence about that person and you can easily save. So that has only showed you have that interest of being a lawyer. You can easily defend somebody. You have that argumentation during debate. That means you can easily become a lawyer because you have that within you. You like defending, you like opposing those people whom they are accusing falsely. Then you are likely to be a lawyer. You can easily be a teacher. When we're still young, teachers used to tell us that if you want to become a teacher, when you're a teacher, you need that confidence. So they used to tell us, when you are in class and the teacher is outside, just get into the front of the classroom and look to the all eyes of the teachers in the classroom. You look at the eyes of the students in the classroom. When you do that, at least for 5 minutes every day in class, you'll get that confidence within you that I can also be a teacher. So when they get a topic, when they get some question to discuss, get in front, show some characters of being a teacher, then you'll likely be a teacher. Now, on career opportunities, when you have that interest within you young kids, when you grow that interest, actual interest is not looked for. Interest is within you and it grows within you. However, some students and some kids tend to say, oh, if it is within me, I haven't realized that. But before you know that it is within you, you look for it. Now, for example, during my primary level, I was always fearing of standing in front of people. However, I didn't know that I have that interest and I have that capability of standing in front of people and speaking. So I just finished my primary level like that without doing anything. But I got something like, I have that thing within me that I don't want to talk about. There is that talent within me that I'm not realizing. So when I got to secondary, we have clubs. I got to know, I said I'll have to join the debate club. Just because I joined it, I saw those people, what they're doing. So there is something you see, and there is that curious thing that grows within you. Just seeing debate and saying, wow, if I was one of them. I just also got into the debate club. When I got into it, I also got another challenge. Which speaker role can I do? Just because I was curious. I was shivering that will I manage debating. Kids, just telling you, when it was my first debate, in my second life, I was the best speaker. That's what I realized. So no matter what, you may like debate, you may go into debate, just see that you can't manage, just know that that isn't what was created within you. But when you see you're capable, when I got to debate, I was the best speaker, but I was doing second speech. When another time I got into third speech, I was the best third speaker. So that is what I knew that, oh, I lie within here. Just because when I get into football, I don't get it. When I get into other stuff, I don't do it at my perfection. But when I get into public speech, when I get into debating, I do it at my perfection. That means that is what I'm interested in. When I'm seated, I like doing public speeches, standing in front of my parents and doing public speech. When we're actually training for public speech in secondary, our trainer told us, if you want to grow up with confidence within you, just get into a mirror and talk to yourselves. Some students were getting it something like, will the people tell you mad? But when you do it, you'll see the importance of it. And then, what does that really show? Which careers lie within public speech and debate? So you get curious about it. Yes, I can manage debate. I can manage public speech. So which opportunity lies within those? You just get to know kids. You can be a journalist. You can be a lawyer. You can be a public speaker actually. You can be somebody who writes speeches for those big people who are going to speak. You can be a motivation speaker. So those are the opportunities lying within there. So there is another thing, another factor we need to consider when we are looking for our career opportunities. We look at those career opportunities that have high demand within our country. Just as we see, many people out there, many kids out there are being disturbed when they have those jobs that are not on high demand. However, there is a debate within there having what is needed most within the country, what is on high demand. Like for now, it is doctorate. But you see, you're not interested in doctorate. So what you'll do is, no, I'm going to force myself into doctorate and I will do it. But I want to assure you one thing, kids. Interest and opportunity, or interest and demand, differ. But what I prefer most is interest. When you get a demand, when you know they need doctorate much, you're going to take BCM. Just because you took BCM, doctorate is on high demand in Uganda. But just know that when you get into a workplace of doctorate, that is not the thing you're having within your blood. So what you think, you're going to be corrupt, you're not going to be confident on what you're doing. So when you don't get confidence in what you're doing, what will be the end result? You just lose your opportunity, you just lose your job. But when I have that thing I'm interested in, and I'm doing it perfectly, I'm going to safeguard my job, I'm going to do whatever it takes that I cannot lose my job. No matter what it takes, little money, no matter what, that I get in much time, I put in much time. But when you do something you're interested in, when you do something you feel like you want to do, it will be the best career you want to do. Just as you say, many people demoralize kids like, you want to be a lawyer, but do you know you can be a lawyer and you're defending a thief, somebody will get you and kill you, so don't be a lawyer, it is very risky. No, don't just say, actually kids, this is the best word you can tell them. If they kill them, say, I will take whatever it takes that I cannot be killed. But it is a lie. Just ask them, how many lawyers have you had? They have killed just because they are defending wrong people. How many lawyers have you had are being corrupt? Just tell them, if they are corrupt, tell them, I won't be corrupt. So tell him, advise him, and assure him that what you're doing is the best thing you can do. And what you're doing, when you get to that workplace, you'll be the better person in that career. So you should be doing that thing. So we are talking about demand and career, demand and interest. What is the debate within there about demand and interest? However, I assure you, you should do interest, just because I said interest makes you do perfect work when you are at the job. This is the Kids Talk Show every Sunday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon here on 4TV, the home of entertainment. Find us on all social media handles. You can download the 4TV app to have our live streams right away. I'm Nicholas Amanyire Nyawongo Akiki. For now, we shall be taking a very short break. When we return, we resume with our topic today, career opportunities and leadership skills. Don't go away.
Fort TV. Stay entertained.
Looking for comfort, great food and affordable luxury in Kenjojo? Welcome to Elroy Kadosh Motel, conveniently located behind Centenary Bank, Kenjojo Town. Enjoy self-contained rooms designed for your comfort at affordable prices. Treat yourself to delicious meals, mouth-watering pizzas, burgers, and a rich buffet experience. Stay connected with free Wi-Fi, enjoying DSTV, and more so keep fit in our healthy gym. Planning a meeting or an event? Our modern conference hall is ready for you. Whether you are here for business, leisure, or a quick getaway, Elroy Kadosh Motel has it all for you. For reservations, call +256 742 436803. Elroy Kadosh Motel Kenjojo, your culinary adventure awaits.
bagenzi harohe kitweka ekinkumanya kikahumba ruhanga ubuyemera hansozi olengeresi amare.
Yo, you know me, Pelista, you like me, Pelista, yo, it's a go, Pelista, the superstar, the baddest, the fittest, the finest, the youngest, yo, I call upon everybody to watch for TV, watching program Kids Talk Show every Sunday, 11 to 12, yeah man, everything that one.
Fort TV, ikara osemerirwe.
Yo.
Corn Production.
Hey, pasa, 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 rumba, 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 apart together. Hey, bana, bana, bato, abaya, sejiye nkoko. Nawe sara jangu tugende tulambule nkoko za jaja. Twagenda mu kibira okunoga y'ebibala twali tukyabinoga ne tulengera essajja lyali ddene nnyo ng'ate era ggwanvu ne litugoba emisinde ne tukaba n'amaziga. My father, rumbembe, simula head, simula head, sipolingi, my father, rumbembe, simula head, simula head. Omchene nyamulyawo,
Chene nkoko, kawunga, ice cream, tuta, komando.
Okay. Soda. Come tomorrow and get a bottle of soda. If you're happy and you know, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know, clap your hands.
Alright, welcome from that short commercial musical break. You're still watching Fort TV and it's the Kids Talk. With me, your host, Amanire Nicholas Nyabongo Akiki. Right away, we are broadcasting live from Fort TV studios in the heart of Fort Portal City. Now, as we went for the break, we are still talking on which factors should we consider when we are choosing our career opportunities. Now, I had reached on a debate between interest and demand, and we looked at what should we consider most. But interest takes a lot of it because it creates confidence when you are at work. However, when you're choosing a career, there is that thing that has disturbed most of the kids and some students who have failed even to get into their careers just because of their parents. So we as the parents, we need to safeguard our kids. Let us look at those things that we make them what they need. However, many parents have heard that doctorates and medicine is on high demand, and they are advising all kids to become doctors. But then, when you're advising your kid to become a doctor and he or she does not have that passion of becoming a doctorate. Now look, when you want to become a doctor at A level, you should be having done very well in biology and chemistry. Take a look that you're taking like BCM or BAC. So you should be good at biology and chemistry. However, this student is weak, is not good actually in biology and chemistry. So this kid is good in history and literature. He can generate his literature. He can tell stories. He can write poems. He can write plays. He's good at drama. In history, is able to rise his 20 points they need. So this kid is going to take BCM just because the pressure coming in from parents. And at the end of the course at A level, this kid is not going to perform well in biology and chemistry just because you forced him to take those things that he does not have within him. So take a look, if we had taken like HLOD, HEL, if we had done very well in history and literature, never know, even this kid may get a scholarship at A level and is taken to study law. So this kid is going to get a good job. However, this student you're forced to take BCM is going to fail. For example, is going to rise the points that cannot take him or her to the university. So he has lost all the 2 years of A level. So does it make sense? If we had taken the HL, the arts, it would have been better. Now, before in second term, just the teachers of arts had put down their tools. They are no longer teaching just because of the salary. So many kids were worried, even those kids who were interested in arts just shifted away. Just a reminder to you kids that before these science teachers go to 4 million, remember, before we came into the 2000s, around in 2016, those years back. So how much was a teacher paid of primary? It was 50,000. Just because this is coming in, the increase of money is coming in just because of the economic status that the country is going through. But however, also when these arts teachers came to put down their tools, they were also told we shall add them. So that thing we do demoralizes our kids. However, those kids who are interested in arts, so don't be shifted, don't be forced to do what you are not able to do. So just another thing, some also kids, another blame comes to us as just we choose jobs that, yeah, jobs, we need jobs that of high demand. We also need those jobs of interest. However, there are jobs where there are these things, like for example, when we were taken to meet people in aviation, they were told that these girls that move in their airplanes, having drinks, doing what, there are things that they consider. You shouldn't be having more than this weight. You should be of a good height, and when you're not of a good height, what are you going to do? You're definitely going to leave out that job. So though interest and demand, though interest takes a lot, when you're interested in being those women and girls just working in an airplane, they are going to tell you you shouldn't be having more than this weight, and you're too fat, and you should be at least of a certain height, and you're too short. So what are you going to do? You're just going to shift away from that. So that comes in as a last resort. When that career you have, there are things they need personally on your body which you cannot be able to contribute. So you just leave out that. There is another factor we should consider when we want to become certain people we want to be. We should look for those jobs with high salary. However, high salary shouldn't be considered most just because this high salary may make you shift away from something you just wanted. Now look, you wanted to become an arts teacher, you wanted to become a history teacher in future just because you're interested in how your teacher of history teaches, you're just interested on how your teacher of literature teaches. So you're going to shift away just because these teachers of arts are not paid a lot of money. But that's the thing you can do. Just look when they say arts is nothing, but just tell them that actually this is the demoralization comes from public. So what I want to tell you kids, let us ignore public opinion. So what is public opinion? These are the people who want to decide for you. Somebody comes and tells you, oh, you want to become a lawyer? Oh, you want to take history and literature? That does not take you anywhere. But we have seen big people, lawyers. Aren't lawyers rich? You want to say all lawyers are not rich just because that is public opinion? Actually, you should make yourself deaf and not get that intersection of the public opinion. Public opinion demoralizes a lot of the kids. It's the Kids Talk Show, 37 minutes past the o'clock of 11 a.m. We shall now be shifting into leadership skills. So what do we want to talk about today in leadership skills? We want to talk curiosity into superpowers. That's the topic we want to also tackle. How can we turn curiosity into superpowers? So curiosity is just that feeling you have within you, what you want to become. You're always curious. Oh, how do speakers do their things? Oh, how do doctorate do their doctors who have studied doctorate do their things? You also want to be like them. You're just curious on how these news reporters are able to get their own literature in their head. So that is the curiosity you have within you. However, do you know that curiosity can turn you into superpowers? Just look. When you're curious of how speakers do their things, you see what you're going to do. You're going to be a good speaker. You're going to be a nice debater. So when you become a nice debater, what you're going to do is you should bring within you that skill of what the speakers do. You're always curious on how speakers handle tough decisions. But in leadership skills, when you are a kid who has that passion of becoming a big leader in future, just what you do is one. If you have that interest, you can. If you want to become that, just get your mentor. Some kids, as I'm talking here, there are those kids who don't have that mentorship from other people. So when you want to become that thing, you should be having that person who picks up your interest, who picks up your attention. However, some kids get mentors who don't really match within their lineage. So you should get that mentor who is good. So just look in journalism, you'll always see who are the best investigative journalists. They'll just bring you Canaries Mugume. So you'll always be curious how Canary Mugume has done his thing to become a nice journalist just because he does this and this. So how are you able to get it? It is you interact with those role models of yours. You should interact with those mentors in yours. Who are those that pick up your interest, Who are those that are lying within your lineage of your career? Those are the people you need to interact with. So when you get the interaction with them, it becomes simpler for you. There is that thing that grows within you, and you think that that thing is easy for you. And just when you get that mentorship, it will be best for you. You'll pick up the more interest. Just when you get to know how they do their thing, how are they able to read their news, they'll just tell you, if you want to become a good news reporter, you should be having a good eye contact. You shouldn't be fearing the public, and that is grown up within public speech. So you just get into those things that reflect. Just when you talk to many mentors of yours, they'll just tell you there are things they did as kids that reflected what they did, what they are doing now, So if you ask them what did they do, many of them will tell you, we just used to do this and this when we were kids. And when you look at that, definitely they did what was reflecting what they are doing per now. When you get to many journalists, they'll just tell you we are debaters. When you get to lawyers, they'll tell you, oh, we are men lawyers. We used to argue during debates. How did you become a doctor? I just told you, when we were in secondary, I joined the science club. When we were at the university, I liked that thing of research, and you're going to be a nice researcher. When you ask political activists, they'll just tell you, we were following the politics, though we were young. We liked those political activists, political analysts, and political commentators, what they used to do. We just like what they used to do. So that is the mentorship they grow within you. So that curiosity you just had within you has grown up into an opportunity. When you get to know what they used to do, you will also become one of them. So kids, however, when we get to our mentors, we are always disturbed. We don't get, what should we really ask them? But what you ask them is, what favorite part did you do when you're still a kid in order to become a speaker? That thing, when you ask him or her and he tells you, it becomes simple. In short, I mean, curiosity turns into simplicity, and that's how it turns into simplicity. However, many kids need to be leaders, but an advice to you is that when you want to become a leader, you need also to remember about legacy. So legacy is, what will you leave to be remembered? Some people do their work and just die when you're not remembered. But as the next generation, we shouldn't be such kind of people. We should be those kids who want that legacy. When you die, you'll also be remembered. Just like when you see these people who led Uganda to independence, the struggle they were left to remember. So that is the milestone they created. That is the milestone they did for their legacy. So legacy as a young child can also be built now. Some of you wonder, how can I build my legacy at this right age when I'm in senior 1 and senior 2? Just look, as I take a look, when I got into secondary, I was curious of how people behave in secondary, were they harsh, such stuff. But within me, I wanted to become a leader. But when you want to create legacy through leadership, you get an opportunity. You should look for that opportunity that will create your legacy. Just I found post, I wanted to become an assistant academics prefect, but I heard that there is a new seat that has just been created, and that was the library and information desk that was created. And I wanted to become the leader. I wanted to become the prefect of that. So if it was its first time to be introduced in that school, why shouldn't I take part of being that? So when I get into that, what is the milestone I've just laid? I was the first information and library prefect in this year at this school. So that is the legacy you've built. When you come to leave that school, there is that thing you'll be remembered for. And during your during that due course of leadership, I just changed on how they were reading their news. I just changed all the things in library, the organization, the way how people behave in the library, the way of conduct during my due of regime. It was the best. So that is the milestone I'll be made to remember when I leave out that school. So that is the legacy I say you should live when you want to become a leader. And when you want to become a leader, you should have that passion that a leader does not rule, however he leads. Now, this thing gets into when some people, these things actually happens when you become a very big person in school, when you're the head prefect. These people tend to be it. These people tend to be too loyal. They need people to be loyal to them at every other moment. Just like when you get into them, just say, I'm a head prefect, I don't talk to senior one chaps. So, you see, don't think you're a nice leader. Though you're the HP, but when you talk to a senior one student like that, is that the legacy? There is good legacy and bad legacy. So when you move out of that school, they will just say, oh, during the regime of this and this person was very harsh. However, when you are a leader in school, remember one thing, that you also for academics. Now, this comes to these HPs actually. When they are in senior 5 and they're getting to senior 6 and then they are leaving secondary, when they need to be, they want to show seriousness. However, seriousness should be not coming from those harsh actions. Now, he's going to be a leader. However, when you look at him, the much time he gives is giving it to his work as a prefect. But he's forgetting that he came at school for one reason, to be an academician and to be somebody big, somebody in future. But he is forgetting that he came to study and is giving much time to that prefecthood. So, though we lay a legacy, we should also remember our only personal things we need. However, and other people, when they get into leadership, there is corruption. Now, don't talk about corruption of smuggling the government's money. There is that corruption within your heart. Just know, when there are disciplinary committees, when you are a leader at school, when you get in, they'll just tell you, go down and get 6 kinds before we handle your case in disciplinary committee. And then remember, you are a leader and you want to become another leader in the future. You want to become a judge. So when you become a judge, are you going to be that person who will always, before we handle this case number, this suspect should first get this treatment before he goes into the judgment? So that's not what a leader should do. However, a leader should be that person who needs to know the truth. When you get somebody in a case, first try to internalize on what he or she is telling you. Never know, he may not be too guilty, he may be innocent, but when you get into the disciplinary committee, go down, get 6 tricks, and then we shall talk about your case. And then at the end of the case, you'll find somebody's innocent. So have you not done something bad? So within your leadership skills, You want to create legacy, but you are forgetting that there is good legacy and bad legacy. So which legacy you as a person should you create? You as a person, you need that good legacy. When you found a school where they've been in a disciplinary committee, and when you are going to handle your case, you're first going to get these strokes, and then after these strokes, we shall handle your case. But when you get there, say, this is not the right way we should handle these cases. The right way is question and conversation. Try to internalize somebody's feelings. Actually, that is one of the leadership skills. When you want to become a good leader, try to see those skills in him. Try to get that innocence. Just listen to the words. You will know this person is innocent or guilty. But some of them are not minding on that. They are just minding, oh, I just handled your case. So if you don't want your case to reach to the teacher in charge of discipline, give me money. So as a leader, when you begin that, when you're leader in school, in future, believe me or not, you're going to be that kind of person who is going to be corrupt when you are a leader in the future. So leadership begins where you are now as a kid. Leadership doesn't begin just because you are an LC1 by that time, but leadership begins when you are still young. Leadership skills are got when you are still young. So if you're kind of person of a leader who handles the disciplinary committee and you're that person, enter, get these strokes, we handle your case. If you don't want to reach that case to reach to the teacher in charge of discipline, give me money. So are you a nice leader? We need that leader who has that passion. We need that leader who defends conversation. We need that leader who knows what within the person are chosen, what the feelings within. So you should assume yourself you are in that situation. You should be able to feel the feelings of that person they are choose, what is speaking, try to, and then act accordingly. That is how a speaker, that is how a leader needs to be. And then just hope when you become that leader, when you just leave out that school, you will be left to be remembered that you are a nice leader. And when you left out your school as somebody who was a prefect, the people will, you will leave that to remember. People will say, during the regime of this and this somebody did this, is the one who abolished beating of kids as just those criminals who have done very huge cases. Just say, during the regime of this and this, somebody handled cases as somebody who could understand somebody's feelings, not somebody who was acting out of his mind or her mind. So that is the kind of leader we need in future, and that's the kind of leader you need to be as a kid per now. So we were still talking about turning curiosity into superpowers. Just before we went for the break, when I was talking about career opportunities, I told you we need that thing you're interested in. So now today, when you get interested in leadership, be somebody who is compassionate. So when we get about being compassionate, you can be kind to somebody. Just when you see these judges, when you look at these judges in court, you can't understand that this judge is in favor of this person or this person just because it's acting professionally. So as a leader, another skill you must have as a kid is you act professionally. You don't act just because of your actions. However, you act professionally. What are you supposed to do as a leader, not what do you want to do? Those two things differ. What are you supposed to do and what do you want to do? So you act professionally. just know that also the public will have to listen to you. Just know, if you're a judge in future, a leader, and you're a judge, and people also in that courtroom are also judging within their minds. So just know, when you're judge and two people are here, cases are here, and they are accused, is accused falsely up to the extent that the evidence is true. So, and when you look at the defense's side, they have nothing to defend their accused person. So they should act professionally. Who is right and who is wrong? Just when you say the accused, let him be left, and there was no evidence proved to you as a judge, do you think people in the courtroom will act accordingly, or will those people? So you should be that kind of a judge. When you decide something, it's done. Just when you look at these cases, many people in court have been going to judges, and when they are judging their cases, these people are like, oh, what is this? A judge, just a judge. So they are going to be continuing on that case. You see, I'm going to the High Court, I'm going to the Supreme Court, just because this judge did this judge cannot give me a bail. So you should be a judge who acts professionally, who does his things, that if it ends, no more discussion about it. Somebody has not brought evidence, but you want to prove him or her innocent. So are you going to be that kind of judge of profession? Are you going to be that kind of judge you were trained to be? Or you are going to do actions out of your mind? So in short, as a leader, you need to become sober. You should do things sober. I mean, don't do out of your actions. And as a leader, when something becomes ahead of you, when you can't handle something, just move it to the next level. What will that bring to you? When you move something that you are not able to do to another level, it creates peace. So as a leader, you shouldn't be somebody who brings chaos. You shouldn't be somebody, when you rule out this, you bring out chaos. You should be somebody who needs peace. You should be somebody who needs unity. So when you see something is ahead of you, just move it to the next level. You will have acted professionally, and just tell them that thing was not under my lineage. So that's it. So as a leader, you should act professionally. You should be somebody of peace. You shouldn't be somebody who needs to be a leader of chaos. When you come into leadership, people will say, oh, it's this and this coming in leadership. This regime, it will be the worst one. Just if you know, people know you in such a way, just know you are in a mess, and you need to adjust or digest on what according to what you are doing. As I later said, that when you want to become a leader, be somebody compassionate. You should be somebody who acts professionally, not on what you want to do. And if you want to become a good leader, just be that person who wants to do something that even the public will have to rule right. It's the Kids Talk Show. It has been a nice discussion with you kids and people out there. I think we have discussed, and at the end of the show, you know what should I consider when I want to become this person in the future, and which skills as a leader in school should I be having, which leadership. Hope and believe in me that if you have those skills I've just told you, you'll be a leader of understanding. You'll be a leader who will have to leave legacy. It's the Kids Talk Show every Sunday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon here on Fort Television. You can find us on all social media handles. You can find us on the Fort TV app, Azam TV, also on free to air. Thank you for watching. I send my regards, my parents, Simba Ivan, Cop Singer Rose out there, my sisters, people in Fort Portal and people outside Fort Portal. Thank you for choosing it. Cop Singer Rose, my mother, thank you very much. They just told me we are going to be watching your show right away there. Now, I'm your host, Amanyire Nicholas Akiki Nyabongo. Let us catch up next Sunday, same time, same place on Fort Television. For now, I sign out and bye-bye.
You know me. Yo, you know me, Pelista, you like me, Pelista, yo, it's a go, Pelista, the superstar, the baddest, the fittest, the finest, the youngest, yo, I call upon everybody to watch for TV, watching program Kids Talk Show every Sunday, 11 to 12, yeah man, everything I want.